There are these shadows in American history, stories that just don't fade away, whispers of violence that kind of echo, right?
Exactly. And they're more than just crime stories, aren't they? They sort of curdle into something else.
Yeah.
These killers become these chilling icons.
That's what we're diving into today. Three really potent examples: the Zodiac Killer, the Black Dahlia, and Ted Bundy.
Three very different cases,
Mm.
but all cemented as legends.
Right. And our mission here is to really pick apart why. What were the specific things that made these cases stick in our collective nightmares?
It's fascinating, isn't it? How they go beyond just the horror of the crimes themselves. They tap into these really deep human anxieties.
Each one represents a different kind of fear, almost.
Yeah, like the terror of the unseen, the sort of unknowable with Zodiac, and the sheer visceral shock of the Dahlia case. Just inexplicable brutality.
And Bundy, that's a whole different violation, isn't it? The trustworthy face hiding something monstrous, the ordinary masking the horrific.
Precisely. It's that violation of trust.
Okay, so let's start with Zodiac. Northern California, late 1960s. Picture it, this feeling of unease starts spreading.
Uh-huh. These seemingly random attacks, often on young couples, parked cars, places thought to be safe, secluded.
And that randomness was key, wasn't it? No clear pattern, no way to know who's next. It created this widespread panic.
Utter vulnerability. That feeling was really the first tendril of the Zodiac legends taking hold.
But then it escalated significantly.
Oh, yeah. The letters showing up at the San Francisco Chronicle. That changed everything.
These weren't just like anonymous threats. They had confessions, didn't they? Details.
Details that supposedly only the killer would know. And of course, the ciphers, these complex coded messages. It felt like he was taunting everyone.
Totally. It was like he was actively crafting his own story, turning the whole thing into this twisted game with the police and the public.
And giving himself that name, Zodiac.
Yeah. It wasn't just an identifier. It was like he was creating a brand, a symbol of fear.
And every letter, marked with that crosshair symbol, it became another chilling piece of his own mythology.
But maybe the thing that really cemented the legend, the most powerful part, is the fact that, well, he just vanished.
He was never caught.
Never caught.
And that lack of resolution is absolutely crucial, I think. It lets the unknown just fester. It becomes way more terrifying in your imagination than maybe any real person could be.
Right. You see it even now, the discussions online, people still trying to crack those codes.
That deep need for answers, especially when faced with that kind of calculated anonymity, the unsolved ciphers are like potent symbols of the whole enduring mystery.
Okay, so from that fog in the Bay Area, let's shift gears. 1947, Los Angeles, Hollywood.
A completely different scene. You have Elizabeth Short, this young woman, chasing that classic Hollywood dream.
A dream that ended just horribly. Her body discovered in a vacant lot. The brutality is hard to even comprehend.
It really is. The details are just stark. The body cut in half, drained of blood, that grotesque smile carved onto her face.
The Glasgow smile.
It spoke to a level of depravity that was just beyond understanding for most people. Savagery.
And then the press steps in. They dubbed her the Black Dahlia.
That name.
Mm.
It was evocative, wasn't it? Beauty, death, noir. It captured the public imagination.
It transformed her from just a victim into this tragic icon, a symbol of Hollywood's dark side, maybe. The violence lurking beneath the glamour.
And the fact her dreams were cut short so violently just added to that morbid fascination.
The investigation itself was huge, right? Loads of suspects.
Oh, massive. Hundreds of suspects over the years, numerous confessions too, but nothing solid. No one ever charged.
And in that failure to find the killer just added another layer to the legend, didn't it? This feeling that maybe, just maybe, someone could get away with something that brutal.
Creates this real sense of unease. And you mentioned the crime scene earlier. The photos are incredibly graphic.
Disturbing. But there's that other layer, too, that persistent rumor, maybe unfounded, but still chilling.
That someone in the media might have been involved.
Yeah. The idea that the people reporting on it could have been somehow connected, it just erodes trust, doesn't it?
That blurring of lines, observer and potentially perpetrator, it adds this psychological horror element.
Right.
And like you said, all the books, the movies, the theories.
They keep the legend alive, always circling back to that central, awful, unsolved truth. We just don't know who killed her.
We don't.
All right, let's turn to our third case, a different kind of terror. Ted Bundy.
Ah, Bundy. What's so deeply unsettling about him is that stark contrast, isn't it? Between how he looked charming, handsome, articulate, and what he did. He just smashed the stereotype of what a monster was supposed to look like.
He really did change how people thought about evil, didn't he?
Absolutely. He wasn't easily identifiable as dangerous. He looked normal.
Yeah.
Appealing even. It forced people to face this terrifying idea that, well, darkness could hide inside someone who seems perfectly fine.
And his crimes spanned multiple states. He was cunning, escaped prison twice.
Uh-huh. And then deciding to represent himself in court, all while keeping up this composed public image, smiling for the cameras.
That image is burned into memory, isn't it? The affable guy juxtaposed with the horror of his actions. It's profoundly disturbing.
And the sheer number of victims. He admitted to over 30, but the real number is likely much higher.
It just underscores the scale of it all.
Yeah.
And his methods.
So calculated, pretending to be injured, needing help, exploiting people's basic decency and empathy to lure them in.
It reveals such a predatory mind operating right under that surface of normalcy.
And that's the core of his legend, I think, that mask.
Yeah.
The ability to just blend in.
He wasn't some shadowy figure in an alley. He could be your neighbor, your classmate,
Yeah.
helpful stranger.
He made people question their own judgment, highlighted how easily we can be deceived.
So even though he was executed in '89, that unease he created, it didn't really go away.
No. His legacy is this stark warning about the deceptive nature of evil. It forces you to examine your assumptions about who's capable of what.
That monstrous acts can come from people who seem utterly ordinary, trustworthy even.
It's a chilling truth.
So looking back at these three, Zodiac, Dahlia, Bundy, it's clear their legendary status isn't just about the crimes, horrific as they were.
No, it's more than that. It's the unique, disturbing elements in each one.
Like Zodiac's taunting mystery,
Well, yeah.
right? The anonymity.
Yeah, and the Dahlia's just brutal, unsolved nature, that specific kind of violence.
And Bundy's terrifying betrayal, the mask of charm.
Each one hits a different primal fear,
Yeah. And connecting those threads, these legends become these sort of cultural touchstones, reminders.
Reminders that darkness isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's right there, hiding in plain sight, behind a smile or a coded letter.
Or just in the silence of a case that never gets closed.
Right.
Which kind of leaves us with this final unsettling thought, doesn't it?
Uh.
Why do these questions, these unsolved parts, keep such a grip on us decades later?
What is it about the unknown that fascinates and unsettles us so much?
Yeah. How do these dark chapters actually shape how we see the world now? How we think about the potential for darkness? Maybe lurking just under the surface of everyday life.
It's definitely something chilling to think about, long after we finish talking about it.